Muhoozi killed his dear friend Cedric Babu. Cedric Babu put together PLU. He said, you know what, I have an idea. We can start something for the youth to run alongside the NRM, or younger NRMs to run alongside the major NRM group. Cedric Babu put together the organization, put together all of the rules. Excuse me, they hired all the members, and there came a time after Cedric Babu had done all these things and handed the keys and everything to his dear friend Muhoozi. You know, somehow, because he put it together super brilliantly. So Cedric Babu puts together PLU, hands it to Muhoozi and says, my dear friend, I think this is how we can do this. Cedric Babu was the one who suggested the Muhoozi run. Remember when PLU had that run in Kololo to try to negate the Kabaka's run somewhat. So the story behind Matembe's arrest, okay? When they sat in the beginning, when the constitution was being made by CA, Constitutional Affairs, is it? The few people who sat together to prepare the constitution and put it together were Matembe amongst other people, including Museveni. Okay? It was obviously with the authority of Museveni that this happens. So Museveni
akatambi kona nkakuletedde maaso awo ogenda kubanga mwatu okerabirako okanyonyoke ogenda kwewulira ebigambo by'omukazi ono Lady Winnie engeri gy'ayaniseemu General Muhoozi oba engeri gy'ajeyo Bwino atiisiza ddala omuli n'okufa kwa Cedric Babu ffenna gwe tumanyi eyafa nga obuzibu bwa mutima byonna byenkuletedde atanaba kubanga osubscribinga wano wengenda okubanga ntuusa okusaba kwange subscribinga akadde kakwatemu kajje personalized okateekemu all video jimpere like ku speed ya mangunyo evenga etambulira ddala ituke ku buli munnayuganda yenayina ali eyo eyandyetaze okumanya kweno information bingi nnyo ebiri mu katambi kano era nga byonna bitiisa Matembe ensonga lwaki baba nga bamukwata ne bamutwala mu basement ensonga yino namba abana ensonga lwaki ya General Muhoozi yasobola okubanga mbu hata eyatandikawo ekibiina kya PLU amanyikidwa nga Cedric Babu ffenna gwe tumanyinga eyafa ekirwadde ky'omutima byonna byenkuletedde mu comment section mwenkwagala endowooza yo kintu kikulu nnyo naddala mu kuzimba channel eno kwotadde n'okuzza Uganda maaso n'olwekyo saagala mbe nga nkulwisawo wabula kansooke nkweweereko omukazi ono amanyikidwa nga Lady Winnie omwewulirire koko kale katusembulirewo.
Muhoozi killed his dear friend Cedric Babu. Cedric Babu put together PLU. He said, you know what, I have an idea. We can start something for the youth to run alongside the NRM, or younger NRMs to run alongside the major NRM group. Cedric Babu put together the organization, put together all of the rules. Excuse me, they hired all the members, and there came a time after Cedric Babu had done all these things and handed the keys and everything to his dear friend Muhoozi. You know, somehow, because he put it together super brilliantly. So Cedric Babu puts together PLU, hands it to Muhoozi and says, my dear friend, I think this is how we can do this. Cedric Babu was the one who suggested the Muhoozi run. Remember when PLU had that run in Kololo to try to negate the Kabaka's run somewhat. All of that was the brain work of Cedric Babu. Now, after some time, when it was all settled and Muhoozi is starting to run PLU and it's starting to take off, Museveni calls Muhoozi and Salim Saleh come together and say, you know what, Muhoozi, I know that Cedric Babu is a really good friend of yours. And I can see that you guys, you know, you're doing really well together, but we're afraid that he's really, really brilliant. And if Cedric Babu can put this together for you, imagine if Cedric Babu turns on you and starts something new. Imagine that you will never survive something like that. So we have a suggestion for you, and something that we want you to do because it's going to make you stronger. It's going to make you more powerful. And if you do this, anybody else is going to be a non-issue for you to get rid of, if you must, because they've misbehaved, because they're trying to take over you, because, you know, they're seeming like they want to snatch your government. After Cedric Babu did all these things, Museveni and Salim Saleh and Andrew Mwenda and all of them decided that Cedric Babu is now a threat to Muhoozi. So they told him that you must kill Cedric Babu. And Muhoozi said, no, I couldn't do that. And the father said, you must. Salim Saleh said, you must. In that conversation, they talked about a lot else that Museveni has done as examples to Muhoozi. And all this information as they speak, as I said, Muhoozi is undressing his father every single day. Everything, whoever Museveni got rid of, he told Muhoozi. He said, you see that guy? You see the one who did this and that? You see Kaida, the way he was coming up? We had to do this. And Muhoozi said, why don't you kill his father? Why does it have to be Cedric? He said, no, the father is a barking dog, an old barking dog without teeth. This one is your competitor. This one will finish you if you let him be. It took Muhoozi a very, very long time. They told him, if you do this, you will not be afraid to get rid of anybody above you, below you, anybody you love, anybody who you care for, anybody you've done anything with, anybody you haven't done anything with, any foreigner, any indigenous person, anybody of importance. You will not think twice about doing away with them. So they're emboldening Muhoozi to perform without fear or disgust or favor or anything. That is how Babu died. Because he feared that Babu would eventually become something. Because he put together PLU successfully. That is why Babu is not here. So the story behind Miriam Matembe's arrest, okay? When they sat in the beginning, when the Constitution was being made by CA, Constitutional Affairs, is it? The few people who sat together to prepare the Constitution and put it together were Miriam Matembe amongst other people, including Museveni, okay? It was obviously with the authority of Museveni that this happens. So Museveni gets a group together and says, we're going to put together a constitution for this country called Uganda. Miriam Matembe was one of those people. Miriam Matembe all along has been outspoken, has been very, very for Uganda and to make sure that everything that is going to be put in that constitution, she made sure that it was revised, it was revisited, it was talked about, it was ironed out, it was for Uganda and not for any other nationality. So what happened was that there's a book that's going around with a page where Museveni promises not to arrest ever or kill Miriam Matembe. It is an agreement that they made during the time of the CA establishment when they tried to put together the Constitution. So what happened was during the putting together of the Constitution, after Miriam Matembe and the group of people had done it and done it all well, Museveni was offered, you know, to read through and make sure that everything is done right. And Museveni, remember when he came, he had come with some Rwandese people and obviously wanted to make sure that he set a place for them in the Constitution from the beginning. So because Miriam Matembe has been very vigilant, Museveni always felt like, you know, this woman is something. He wanted her to be there, but she has always been powerful and vocal. So what Museveni did was, after the Constitution had been put together, the book had been approved and all of that, when it was ready to be signed by Museveni, obviously the president at the time, when they went to meet for signing and commissioning to say, okay, officially this is the Ugandan Constitution, Museveni, with a copy that he has, presents the copies to Miriam Matembe and the other people who were involved to take a look at the book that has been produced from their hard work, the Constitution of Uganda. And Miriam Matembe and a few others look in the book and see other leaves that were added that they had not been part of their meeting, that they had not agreed to add to there. And a few of those leaves pertained to Rwandese or Rwanda. To say that Rwanda or Rwandese are a nationality of Uganda at the time. Remember, internationally, international treaties, sovereignty of different nations does not allow for another country to call another sovereign nation part of it. Therefore, Rwanda or Rwandese are not supposed to be Ugandans officially or part of any other country because they are a sovereign nation with their own practices and constitution and president and so on and so forth. So literally, if a Rwandese person vigilant enough, I know they're super interested in Uganda, if they decided to pursue this and sue for the fact that they were included in another country that they're not supposed to be because they have sovereign powers of being a country of their own and managing their own affairs, this could get Uganda in trouble or get the president, that so-called Museveni, in trouble. But so what happened was Museveni, always thinking ahead and being, you know, caddy-like, he decided to rewrite and include a few leaves that pertain to Rwandese people being a part of Uganda. So during the meeting, when he presented the books, the copy that Museveni had is the copy that was adulterated to include Rwandese. So when Miriam Matembe got a hold of this book, she said, you know, we did not agree on this. I don't want this to be part of this. She has always been a thorn in Museveni's shoe because she is outspoken and wants Uganda for Uganda. Museveni went ahead to say, you know, we had talked about this. These people, I came with them from the bush. I can't just let them be. They helped me get a place, you know, get to this place. They fought for the freedoms of Uganda. Meanwhile, these are the people who killed a lot of people in Luero, you know. There is no definite good reason for Rwandese to be in Uganda. There's really not. They started from the bushes, like Museveni says, to just try to take over this country. Every endeavor has been about being wrong to Ugandans. There is no place for Rwandese goodness, ever, never displayed, never. So because Miriam Matembe insisted and said, this is not what we agreed upon. This is not, we are not signing this one. This is not what we agreed upon. Then there was a few other people who were part of this meeting who talked to her and said, you know, let's just work with him. Let's allow it. We can give it a temporary period of time and this, that, and the other because they helped fight the war to get us here. You know, somehow Miriam Matembe was talked out of this fight and she agreed. And there was some promises to her to make sure that, you know, this would eventually come off the books, eventually, without staying and making this a law or part of making Rwandese a part of Uganda. So Miriam Matembe lets that go. But since then, Museveni says it, and the agreement between them was that Museveni would never hurt Miriam Matembe, never arrest her, never kill her, because apparently, as always, Museveni sets the deadline for most people's life. That is how come Miriam Matembe has existed alongside Museveni, even if she has said the most bitter things that are true, and she has continued to live. But now that after Museveni made that agreement with Miriam Matembe, here enters PLU and the Sun. So because of what Miriam Matembe has been saying the last few months, shaking up, you know, what's the norm, telling the truth, calling Muhoozi, you know, the son who has been with a golden spoon in his mouth all along, all these things, that Museveni does not know what to do with Miriam Matembe because of a promise that was made, which she has written in a book. It's something that she has documented and has been shared world over. Museveni is now in a corner. Miriam Matembe is speaking. Museveni is concerned that if Miriam Matembe continues on this trend, she can cause a toppling of the country, of the presidency. So Museveni says, my son, Muhoozi, because he's trying to hand him big jobs, okay? Because remember, Muhoozi has never done anything and never achieved anything in his life.